depois da Primeira Guerra, ou durante a Primeira Guerra, é que os Estados Unidos foi consolidando a sua posição hegemônica no mercado internacional. Tanto no início do século quanto depois, quando os americanos se transformaram nessa indústria cultural de maior presença no mundo, havia uma consciência da importância desse jogo e havia iniciativas com total senso de planejamento e de estratégia. Quer dizer, não é que foi espontâneo.
But there's of course a reason why the government cooperates in helping Hollywood maintain the semblance or what remains of a monopoly to the extent it can. And that is, the government has always recognized that film entertainment is an extremely important way of putting a message before the public.
Certainly there's a kind of, one could say that the values of Hollywood inform the values of, American belligerents. I think that's absolutely true. We always go to war thinking it's going to be like a movie. And then, 5 years later, it turns out it's not a movie and there are all sorts of consequences. And we love going to war and thinking, we're going to, just like Schwarzenegger and John Wayne, they're going to go off and they're going to knock off Saddam Hussein and it's all going to be over in 2 days and then they're going to come home and it's just like a movie, right? So that's true. That sense of the mentality of the movies informing our foreign policy is absolutely true.
Dressed up to win, we're dressed up to win, dressed up for victory. We are just beginning and we won't stop playing till the world is free. This time we will all make certain that this time is the last time. This time we will not stay certain till we bring it down in their own hometown. For this time we are out to finish the job we started then. Bring it up for all right this time, so we won't have to do it again.
But does it mean that everyone who comes into these major national bodies have any knowledge of the question of cultural policy, and cultural policy, of course, including the notion of cultural diversity in a country like ours? And the notion is hands-off. Just let it work itself out the way any market works itself out. And until there's a shift in that thinking away from this notion that culture is properly a part of the market or exclusively a part of the market, then it's very, very difficult to turn heads and get people to think in different ways.
I mean, it's ironic, you're right about the pillars of democracy. Like, in some ways, the United States would be a great place. It should be the place where we have, like, the best national support for the arts. Because, like you said, if we have truly, if there's a real firewall between the government funding and the artist, because we believe in democracy and democratic ideals, then there should be a flourishing of the arts here. But because we have this ambivalent relationship to the legitimacy of artists, it makes it hard to be an artist. And there's Hollywood. And Hollywood is very legitimate because Hollywood is a money machine.
O poder da indústria hollywoodiana é a maciça presença de capital e de condições de errar. Gastar muito dinheiro fazendo muita coisa para algumas darem certo. Um princípio parecido com aquele que o próprio Estados Unidos usa militarmente, quer dizer, aquele princípio de vamos primeiro bombardear, fazer tabuadas, depois a gente põe a infantaria.
Depois da Segunda Guerra Mundial, quando os Estados Unidos começou a ocupar o espaço e Hollywood começou a exportar realmente produto audiovisual, havia realmente uma política mais ou menos unificada e também organizada pela Motion Picture Association of America e que depois virou Motion Picture Export Association.
The Motion Picture Association is meant to intervene in. It's a lobbying group. I mean, that's essentially what it is. I mean, now it's a lobby. It's a lobby with legislators and a lobby with the president to make sure that Hollywood has its voice heard and that legislation will be passed that's favorable to the industry, and the legislation won't be passed that's unfavorable to the industry.
What is real? How do you define real? If you're talking about what you can feel, what you can smell, what you can taste and see, then real is simply electrical signals interpreted by your brain. This is the world that you know. The world as it was at the end of the 20th century. It exists now only as part of a neural interactive simulation that we call the Matrix. You've been living in a dream world, Neo. This is the world as it exists today.
How can you possibly, so where you started with, let's say in America, 10 theater chains that controlled 90% of the movies, and then, later 10 theater chains plus, 5 television networks, which controlled everything. Now you're going to have literally 100,000 uncontrolled, or 100 million maybe, I should have said, uncontrolled points that can receive the product. So the only way that Hollywood can remain in business, or in the business as they know it, is to control the intellectual property rights.
American movies, I compared American movies to like Swiss chocolates. It's what we export. Everybody wants our entertainment. France, which is probably the most, culturally arrogant country in the world, 70% of the movie dollars, or francs in France, euros now, go to American movies. Now this is a culture that's very proud, always talking about cultural colonialism, and what do they want? They want American movies. What do they want, in any part of the world? They want American movies. Now, there are reasons for that. American movies, are beautifully made, they're expensive, they have special effects, they have learned over the years how to make things that appeal to everybody.
But why should governments conform to the regime of a few American studios? Certainly, they can make more money by having an open world, because it will open it to their own producers and to their own technicians and everything else. So why should anyone like Sweden be interested in enforcing rules that will benefit very few people? The answer is these very few people can buy influence. They can have lobbyists, they can go to the European Union, they can say it's spreading the entire industry, and it's much easier for the people who have something at present and have money to buy influence than those people in the future who will gain a benefit, because the people who gain a benefit really are uninterested parties. So you have a huge battle going on over digital rights. And that's why I said earlier that one of the main ways that the government gains influence over Hollywood is Hollywood's need to have the U.S. government cooperate and suddenly go to a country like Thailand and say, well, if you want us to do X, Y, and Z for you, even military aid, we want you to do something about digital piracy.
The old appeals to racial, sexual, and religious chauvinism, to rabid nationalist fervor, are beginning not to work.
This is who I am, and whether I'm good or bad, or achieving or not, all that's learned along the way.
Just a ride. We can change it anytime we want. It's only a choice. No effort, no work, no job, no savings of money.
I realized that I had the game wrong. That the game was to find out what I already was.